Hello dear children and welcome to the digital learning platform of Winsome International School. My name is Shaheen and today we are going to continue with chapter 2 of your Beehive book titled The Sound of Music. हमने पढ़ा था कि इस चैप्टर की दो पार्ट्स है. Part 1 it talked about Evelyn Glennie, a multi-percussionist who turned out her disability into a special ability and became an inspiration for many people. Today we are going to cover part 2 of this chapter titled The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Ustad Bismillah Khan and Shehnai, they are the synonyms, isn't it? जब शहनाई का नाम आता है तो अपने आप ही दिमाग में उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खान का नाम आ जाता है. So he was a renowned Shehnai player of India, Padma Shri winner Ustad Bismillah Khan, and today we are going to study about his life. We are going to read this biography of Ustad Bismillah Khan. How was his life? How did he become a famous Shehnai player from a very ordinary person, a very ordinary boy? ऐसी क्या चीज थी जिसने इनका ध्यान शहनाई की तरफ खींचा? Why did he get himself attracted to this instrument Shehnai? And we know about this instrument only because of this famous and renowned personality. So without any delay, let's read about Ustad Bismillah Khan. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Now, there you can see this is pungi, okay, and it had a very shrill, unpleasant sound. Means ऐसी voice थी कि आप सुन के उसको बर्दाश्त नहीं कर सकते. You must have seen snake charmers playing pungi, right? So the sound is very harsh and very unpleasant, and that was the reason that playing of pungi was banned in Emperor Aurangzeb's court. ठीक है? औरंगजेब emperor जो थे उन्होंने अपने court में, अपने दरबार में जो pungi थी उस instrument को ban कर दिया. What was the reason behind banning this? Because it had a very shrill and unpleasant sound. Okay, ऐसी एक आवाज जो हमें हमारे कानों को बिल्कुल भी soothing नहीं लगती और बहुत irritating लगती है. Okay, pungi became the generic name for reeded noise makers. Okay, और pungi जो था एक generic name बन गया. Generic name means a name given to a class or group as a whole. मतलब ऐसे instruments जिनकी बहुत ही reeded instruments जो थे, reeded यानी कि जिनमें holes होते हैं, wood के बने हुए, तो वो एक as whole उन्होंने उनका जो नाम था वो क्या कर दिया, pungi. के जो भी reeded instruments है, whole है, जो भी ज़्यादा shrill noise करते हैं, they started calling them pungi. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. Revived means coming, taking a new birth. Revive का मतलब, but यहाँ पे revive का मतलब है that it is going to improvise. Okay? So few people thought that maybe this instrument pungi, it can be revived. हो सकता है कि an improvised version, comes in future. So this was a thought in a few people's mind. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. Okay, so there was a person, a barber. Barber you all know, of course we all know. So जो professional musicians की family से belong करता था, so he said, and he had access to the royal court also, यानी कि palace में आना जाना था, access था means easily he can come and easily he could go. So he decided कि पुंगी की जो टोनल क्वालिटी है, यानी कि जो साउंड पुंगी उस टाइम पे प्रोड्यूस कर रहा था, he thought of improvising it. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem. Hollow क्या होता है बच्चों? Hollow means खोखला, ठीक है? यानी कि hollow stem he took, okay? That was longer and broader than the pungi, okay? So he took a stem, a wooden stem, ठीक है? Which was hollow, it was longer and broader than the pungi, okay? And made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. और उसकी body पे कितने holes बनाए? 7 holes बनाए. Okay? You can see this is a flute and this is a pungi. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds produced. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. When that barber, he finally thought of improving the tonal quality of pungi, and he took a hollow stem, he made 7 holes into it, and then when he started playing, you know, opening and closing those holes, a very soft and melodious sound was produced. बहुत ही अच्छी और सुरीली आवाज जो थी वो produce हुई. So what did he do? He took that instrument in the royal court, वहां महल में उसको ले गया, and when he played on that instrument, everyone was impressed. Everyone liked the sound of that instrument. The instrument, so different from pungi, had to be given a new name. Okay, अब ये जो instrument था, it was very entirely different from pungi. On the one hand, pungi had very shrill and unpleasant voice. On the other hand, this new instrument, it was producing so melodious sound. Okay, so obviously we cannot call it pungi, क्योंकि हमने पहले पढ़ा था कि एक जेनेरिक नेम बन गया था pungi उन सभी इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स के लिए जिनमें से हार्श और अनप्लेजेंट साउंड आता है, और जो वुडन है और जो रीडेड है जिनमें होल्स हैं. बट this was different from pungi because it was producing a melodious sound. So they had to think of a new name of this instrument. As the story goes, now what is the story behind naming it Shehnai? इसको शहनाई नाम क्यों दिया गया? यहाँ पे reason बताया गया है. Since it was first played in the Shah's chamber. What is the meaning of Shah? Shah means king. Okay? क्योंकि सबसे पहले इसको शाह के चेंबर में बजाया गया था, राजा के चेंबर में बजाया गया था, and was played by a nai. और क्योंकि नाई ने वो जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट था वो प्ले किया था. नाई you all know in Hindi, barber is called a nai in Hindi. The instrument was called, or the instrument was named the Shehnai. Understand? See, Shehna आया है शाह से. Okay, and because it was played by a nai, so that is why Shehnai. Okay, now please don't think कि शाहनाई क्यों नहीं हुआ, नहीं, Shehnai. ठीक है? So this is the story that goes that why it is named Shehnai. Because it was played in the Shah's chamber, was first played by a nai, that is why Shehnai. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious means promising to bring good fortune. Auspicious means बहुत शुभ माना जाने लगा. शहनाई का जो sound था, everyone considered it to be lucky, to bring good fortune. And for this reason, it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. क्योंकि इसकी sound को बहुत शुभ माना जाता है, that is why it is still played in many temples in North India, in temples, and for that reason it is played in North Indian weddings. Indispensable component, ऐसा component जिसको अलग नहीं किया जा सकता. ठीक है, शादी है तो शादी में शहनाई तो होनी ही चाहिए. That is how it is considered. Okay. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of the 9 instruments found at royal courts. Okay, so in past, Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble. Ensemble का मतलब होता है children, और Naubat का मतलब होता है when many instruments are kept together or many instruments are played together. So Shehnai was also a part of that ensemble in the royal courts. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. Okay, means जब उस वक्त तक, जब तक वो प्लेटफॉर्म स्टेज पे नहीं आया था, तब तक it was only played in weddings and it was played in temples, right? The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, the person, the man who brought this instrument on the stage from temples and weddings, because it was limited to temples and weddings. This person, Ustad Bismillah Khan, he brought Shehnai to the stage. Okay. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played gilli danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. Okay. Obviously, when kids are young, what do? They play different games. Okay. Similarly, here also they have mentioned gilli danda. That Ustad Bismillah Khan, when he was 5 years old, he used to play gilli danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. That means he belonged to Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Cheta, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. Okay, now you see children that these small things, they are very big for children. Okay, they are big. it is like that they have found some treasure. Okay. So what he used to do when he was very young, he was 5 years old, he regularly used to visit Bihariji temple and he would sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, and at the end when he after singing that Chaita, he would earn a big laddu. That big laddu was a reward for him for singing Chaita. Okay, and what was the weight of that laddu? 1.25 kg, and that prize was given by the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. From earning or from getting that 1.25 kg laddu in prize to achieving or to receiving the Bharat Ratna award, he has travelled a lot. He has travelled a journey of 80 years. Okay? यानी कि जो भारत रत्न है, that is the highest civilian award in India. ओके तो ये इस लड्डू, जब इनको ये लड्डू मिला और ये लड्डू पाने से ये हाईएस्ट सिविलियन अवार्ड लेने तक इन्होंने 80 इयर्स की जो है जर्नी को तय किया है, अ सक्सेसफुल जर्नी ऑफ 80 इयर्स, एंड आफ्टर दैट ओनली ही कुड गेट दिस हाईएस्ट सिविलियन अवार्ड, भारत रत्न. Born on 21 March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. Okay, he was born on 21st March 1916, and he belonged to a well-known family of musicians. Means his family members were all musicians. His grandfather Rasool Bakhsh Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of Bhojpur King's Court. Means his grandfather was also a Shehnai player in the King's Court. His father, Paigambbar Bakhsh, and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. What is the meaning of paternal ancestors? Means from father's side. Okay, fathers के side में जो भी लोग होते हैं, they are paternal ancestors, दादाजी, परदादा. So these are all ancestors, means पूर्वज, and paternal means father के side से. Okay, so they all the people from the paternal side of Ustad Bismillah Khan, they all were musicians. They all were great Shehnai players. The young boy took to music early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house. Maternal uncle means Mamaji. Okay, so maternal uncle's house in Banaras, which is now in Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. Okay, so he was 3, and when he used to visit his uncle's house, maternal uncle's house, and he used to see his uncles practicing Shehnai, so he was fascinated by that. He was attracted by that, and he enjoyed listening to that Shehnai. Soon, Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Bakhsh to Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Bakhsh was employed to play the Shehnai. Okay, now soon he started accompanying. Accompanying means to go with them. Okay, so he started going with his uncle Ali Bakhsh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Bakhsh he used to play Shehnai. उनका वही काम था वहाँ पे विष्णु मंदिर में Shehnai बजाने का. Ali Bakhsh would play the Shehnai, and Bismillah would sit captivated. Captivated means attracted. Okay, children? Captivated means attracted. For hours on end. Okay, so when his uncle used to play Shehnai, Bismillah Khan would sit, and he would sit for hours. Captivated means he was attracted, so much attracted towards the Shehnai that even hours would pass, and he would still sit and he could listen to that sound. Okay, he could listen to Shehnai for hours on end. On end means for a very long time without stopping, continuously. Okay, on end means continuously. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangal Maiya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. Here they are saying slowly he also started getting lessons from his uncle, okay, about lessons of Shehnai, okay, and he would sit and he would practice throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangal Maiya and banks of Ganga, these 3 places, okay, the temple of Balaji and Mangal Maiya and the banks of Ganga, these were the spots where Ustad Bismillah Khan would sit and practice for hours. Okay, apprentice means trainee. Okay children, who takes training or who's who's getting skilled in something, who's getting training. Okay, so trainee, जो कोई चीज सीख रहा होता है, ट्रेनिंग ले रहा होता है, what do we call that person? Apprentice. Okay, so that these three places, these spots were the favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. Solitude means children loneliness, एकांत में, अकेले में. Okay, or you can say alone, without any disturbance. Okay, the flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. Means the flowing water of Ganga, the sound of that water, that was the inspiration for Ustad Bismillah Khan to keep on practicing, to keep exercising and to invent new ragas that were even beyond the range of the Shehnai. ऐसी रागे उन्होंने इन्वेंट की जो शहनाई की रेंज से बाहर मानी जाती थी, या किसी ने उन्होंने कभी ट्राई या एक्सपेरिमेंट नहीं किया था. But this man, sitting beside the holy river Ganga, he would sit and practice and invent such new ragas, ठीक है, जो शहनाई की रेंज से भी बाहर थी. This was the level of his interest and exercise. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad music conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938, came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. So here they're saying at the age of 14, children please notice, very young, okay, at the age of 14, when we are busy with our mobile phones, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook IDs and so many things, here are people who are setting goals in lives. Here are people who are becoming inspirations, okay. So at the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to a music conference, okay, and at the end of his recital means जब उनका शहनाई वाद खत्म हो गया, उस्ताद फयाज खान patted the young boy's back, उसको शाबाशी दी, and he said कि work hard and you shall make it. मेहनत करो और तुम जरूर कुछ बन जाओगे. And what happened children? लखनऊ में जब 1938 में All India Radio की opening हुई, this was the biggest break of his life. ठीक है, बिस्मिल्लाह खान के लाइफ का बिगेस्ट ब्रेक बन गया कब? With the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938, and he became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. मतलब रेडियो पे भी उन्हें सुना जाने लगा, लोग उनको सुनना पसंद करते थे रेडियो पे, उनकी ऑडियंस जो थी it increased. When India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian, very important children, he became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. Okay, on 15th August 1947, when we gained independence, when India gained independence, Ustad Bismillah Khan, now just see the significance of this, Ustad Bismillah Khan, he became the first man to greet the nation with his Shehnai. सबसे पहले इन्होंने ही स्वागत के तौर पे, या आप मान लीजिए to congratulate all the people, he played Shehnai. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. Okay, this is the speech given by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of independent India, and this is his famous. This is the title of his famous speech. Okay, so यहाँ पे जो important चीज आ रही है, that is that Red Fort से Ustad Bismillah Khan played Shehnai to the audience, to the people of independent India. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Okay, so now he also become a well-known, and his popularity, it increased, and people abroad, they started inviting him to their countries, and his first trip was to Afghanistan. And the king of Zahir Shah of Afghanistan, he was so taken in means attracted, itna attract हुए वो, that by the maestro means by his performance, that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets, पर्शियन कार्पेट्स उनको गिफ्ट की, एंड अदर सोवेनियर्स. सोवेनियर्स क्या होते हैं चिल्ड्रन? थिंग्स गिवन इन मेमोरी ऑफ अ प्लेस, पर्सन और इवेंट. ऐसी चीजें जो किसी की याद, किसी इंसान की या किसी जगह की या किसी और चीज की याद में दी जाती है, उसकी निशानी दी जाती है. ओके. The king of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. Okay, means he was not the only one who was fascinated by his music. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. This is the name of a very hit Bollywood chartbuster movie which was named after the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. So the director Vikram Bhatt was impressed, so impressed by his Shehnai that he named a movie after it. क्या नाम दे दिया? Goonj Uthi Shehnai, if you have heard. The film was a hit, and one of Bismillah Khan's compositions, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chart buster. ओके जो कॉम्पोजिशन उन्होंने जिस गाने के लिए दी थी, दैट वाज दिल का खिलौना हाय टूट गया. यूट्यूब पे जाके सुनना इस गाने को, you'll enjoy it. सो इसमें जो कॉम्पोजिशन दिया है, दैट वाज गिवन बाय उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खान. Okay, and it was a nationwide chart buster. What is the meaning of chart buster? Record breaker, hit. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to two. Means though he was successful in that composition, it was a big hit. ठीक है, in the celluloid means old fashioned way. ठीक है, पुराना तरीका मूवीज के अंदर जो भी है, but still his venture means children business relations. तो मूवीज के अंदर उनका जो बिजनेस रिलेशन था या जो उनके प्रोजेक्ट्स थे, they were only limited to two. Number one was Vijay Bhatt's गूंज उठी शहनाई, एक उन्होंने गूंज उठी शहनाई में काम किया था, and Vikram Srinivasa's कन्नड़ venture सनथी अपन्ना. These are the only two ventures that he involved himself. After that, he detached himself from the industry. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world, he says with emphasis. And what was the reason? क्या reason था कि उन्होंने film industry से एक दूरी बना ली, और हालांकि उन्होंने successful, दोनों ही ventures उनके successful थे, फिर भी उन्होंने ज़्यादा involvement नहीं दिया, because he says कि मुझे ये फिल्म इंडस्ट्री का ग्लैमर और इसकी जो आर्टिफिशियलिटीज है वो मैं उसमें एडजस्ट नहीं कर सकता. एंड दैट वाज द रीजन ही मेड डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम इंडस्ट्री, फ्रॉम फिल्म इंडस्ट्री. ठीक है, उन्होंने फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट नहीं लिया, हालांकि उनके दोनों ही कॉम्पोजिशंस हिट थे, चार्ट बस्टर थे, बट स्टिल उनको फिल्म इंडस्ट्री का ग्लैमर और आर्टिफिशियलिटी, फेकनेस पसंद नहीं आई. अवार्ड्स एंड रिकग्निशन केम थिक एंड फास्ट. ओके, अवार्ड्स और रिकग्निशन, पहचान भी मिली, अवार्ड्स भी मिले, और किस तरह से मिले? बहुत सारे मिले और बहुत जल्दी मिले. ओके, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ थिक एंड फास्ट? इट्स अ फ्रेज. थिक मींस मेनी, ओके, एंड फास्ट यू ऑल नो, रैपिड, फास्ट, मतलब मेनी अवार्ड्स. he gained many awards within a very short period of time, very fastly. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. He became the first Indian, again very important. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, in the Osaka Trade Fair. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him, Teher Mausiki Ustad Bismillah Khan. Okay, so you can see he became internationally recognized, popular, that even an auditorium was named after him. And what was the name of that auditorium in Tehran? Teher Mausiki Ustad Bismillah Khan. Okay, Mausiki means music, right? National awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan and the Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. Okay, Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan and the Padma Vibhushan were conferred, means were given to him. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. We have read about it, with the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting. Glinting means, children, shine. Okay, shining, एक flash जो होता है आंखों में. With rare happiness, he said, all I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music. So when he got the Bharat Ratna award, when his chest was bedecked by that prestigious award, he said to the entire nation, he said that music is the richest, this is Hindustan richest tradition. अपने बच्चों को म्यूजिक सिखाइए क्योंकि ये हिंदुस्तान का जो है एक ट्रेडिशन है. Even the West is now coming to learn it. अब तो जो वेस्टर्न पीपल है, जो पश्चिमी सभ्यता के लोग हैं, वो भी आके हमारा संगीत सीखना चाहते हैं, राइट? सो हम अपने बच्चों को क्यों नहीं सिखाते? Why aren't we involving our children into this music, into Indian music, right? So this is what he requested from the people of India. In spite of having traveled all over the world, Khan Saab, as he is fondly called, okay? Khan Saab. He was fondly called, means people used to call him Khan Saab, okay? He is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world, okay? दो wonderful towns कौन से हैं उनके लिए? Banaras and Dumrao. A student of his once wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. So one of his students from USA, he said कि आप please USA में एक ऐसी शहनाई की क्लास ओपन कीजिए, एंड आई प्रॉमिस कि मैं वहां पे पूरा बनारस का एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट कर दूंगा आपके लिए. टेम्पल्स जो है वैसे के वैसे टेम्पल्स बनवा दूंगा, सो दैट आपको वहां पे बनारस का ही एनवायरनमेंट लगेगा. यू वोंट फील एलियनेटेड, यू वोंट फील दैट यू आर इन अ फॉरेन कंट्री, एंड यू फील दैट यस आप बनारस में ही हैं. तो प्लीज ही रिक्वेस्टेड हिम टू ओपन अ स्कूल, म्यूजिक स्कूल इन द यूएसए. And क्या बोला कि he is going to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. वैसे ही temples वहां पे भी वो बनवा देगा, लेकिन he requested him to open a school, to head a school, a music school. But Khan Saab asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. He said कि okay, fine, तुम temples replicate कर दो, वहां पे बनारस का environment भी create कर दो, but एक बात बताओ, will you be able to transport river Ganga there? क्या तुम river Ganga को वहां पे transport कर पाओगे? So see, that was the love of river Ganga, okay? Later he is remembered to have said, that is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan, okay? He would say कि जब भी उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खान किसी foreign country में होते थे, तो वो अक्सर कहा करते थे कि मुझे हिंदुस्तान की याद आ रही है. While in Mumbai, जब वो मुंबई में होते थे, I think of only Banaras. So he says that जब मैं मुंबई में होता हूँ तो मुझे बनारस की याद आती है. जब मैं किसी फॉरेन कंट्री में होता हूँ तो हिंदुस्तान की आती है. हिंदुस्तान के जब मुंबई शहर में होता हूँ तो मुझे बनारस की याद आती है. And while in बनारस, और जब मैं बनारस में होता हूँ, हाँ, जब वो मुंबई में होते हैं तो थिंक ऑफ बनारस एंड होली गंगा, ठीक है, गंगा इज इन बनारस. सो ही वुड से कि मुझे बनारस और होली गंगा की याद आती है. और जब मैं बनारस में होता हूँ, आई मिस द यूनिक मठ ऑफ दुमराव. और जब बनारस में होता हूँ ऑलरेडी, तो मुझे जो दुमराव का मठ है वो याद आता है, उसकी मेरे को बहुत कमी महसूस होती है. उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खान लाइफ इज अ परफेक्ट एग्जाम्पल ऑफ द रिच cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. What is the meaning of devout? Children, devout means a person who practices all, all the fundamentals of a religion. Okay, a devout Muslim means a person who follows all the instructions, all the rituals of a Muslim custom. Okay. And following all the practices, okay? So ये सुनना या ये जब हमें इस बारे में पता चलता है कि कोई ऐसा मुस्लिम जो पूरी तरह से हर मुस्लिम प्रैक्टिसेस को भी फॉलो करता है, लेकिन अर्ली इन द मॉर्निंग वो काशी विश्वनाथ टेम्पल में जाके शहनाई भी बजाता है, एंड दैट वाज द लव, ठीक है, इन हिज हार्ट फॉर बनारस, फॉर रिवर गंगा, फॉर शहनाई. ओके, एंड हाउ डिड ही स्टार्ट? ही स्टार्टेड बाय प्लेइंग शहनाई इन द temples, okay, and he still did not give that Indianness from him. He couldn't take out from him, even when he was offered, when he was asked, and he was requested कि आप USA में खोलिए जहां पे उनको ज्यादा फेम मिल सकता था, ज्यादा पैसा मिल सकता था, but that was not important for him. All that was important for him was his own country, to make his own country proud of himself, okay, and that is why he was bestowed with the highest civilian award of India, that is the Bharat Ratna. Okay. So this was about the life of Ustad Bismillah Khan. How did Shehnai become so popular, and why did it become the synonym of Ustad Bismillah Khan? Alright children, I hope you understand the chapter thoroughly, because we have discussed each and every word, line and everything, all the meanings we have discussed, and I hope आप अच्छे से समझ पाए होंगे, मैं आपको अच्छे से समझा पाई होंगी. Alright, now let's see. Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness, यानी एक लंबी बीमारी से उनका निधन हो गया. He was given a state funeral and the government of India declared one day of national mourning. Okay, so India की government ने एक दिन का शोक भी announce किया, declare कर दिया. Okay, let's see the question answers. Why did Aurangzeb ban the playing of the pungi? So we all know the answer, that Aurangzeb banned, not just banned but banned the playing of the pungi because of its harsh and, instead of harsh you can write shrill, right? That would be more appropriate. Because of its shrill and unpleasant sound. Okay. All right. How is a Shehnai different from a pungi? So Shehnai is entirely different from a pungi. Why? It is more longer and broader than a pungi and produced a sweet and melodious sound. Melodious sound. Okay. Where was the Shehnai played traditionally? So first we are going to answer to this question कि traditionally Shehnai कहाँ play की जाती थी? So Shehnai was played traditionally. First part I am answering. In points I am answering, children. You just frame it into sentences. Okay. So the Shehnai was played traditionally in the temples and Indian weddings. How did Bismillah Khan change this? Okay, how did he change? He changed this by bringing this instrument onto the stage. Alright, so these are the two parts of the this answer. First is, where was the Shehnai played traditionally? So it was played in the temples and Indian weddings. You can also specifically write North Indian weddings. And then how did Bismillah Khan change this? So Bismillah Khan changed this tradition by bringing this instrument from weddings and temples. He did not limit the instrument to only weddings and temples, but he brought this instrument onto the stage. Okay. When and how did Bismillah Khan get his big break? So if you remember, with the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938, right, he became the often heard Shehnai player on radio. Okay, so he got his first break. Bismillah Khan got his first break. Instead of get, we will write got his first break, because the question is in past, you can see. did, right? So we are going to write the answer as well in past. Answer bhi past mein likhenge. Bismillah Khan got his big break with the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938. He became the most often heard, became the most often heard Shehnai player on radio. Alright, this is the answer to this, that Bismillah Khan got his big break with the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938. He became the most often heard Shehnai player on radio. Okay, so this is how he got his first break. So the next question is, where did Bismillah Khan play the Shehnai on 15th August 1947? We have discussed this also, and you are very well aware. Why was the event historic? Very easy answer. Let's write down the answer. So we all know that Bismillah Khan played the Shehnai at the Red Fort, right? You remember he played it at the Red Fort on 15th August 1947. The second part is, why was the event historic? You all know about it. The event was historic. Always start with the question itself first. The event was historic as we gained independence on this day, right? It was historic. Why? Because it was our Independence Day. We received freedom on 15th of August 1947, and Ustad Bismillah Khan, he was the first Indian to greet the entire nation from the Red Fort on 15th of August in the presence of many people, including Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, so that is why the event was also historic, and he played it on, at the Red Fort on 15th of August 1947. Okay, next is, why did Bismillah Khan refuse to start a Shehnai school in the USA? So this also we know that Bismillah Khan refused, okay, because it's did refuse, so refused to start a Shehnai school in the USA, because he did not want to leave India and go anywhere else and settle, we would say. Okay, going is different, so and settle anywhere else. This was That was the love he had for his country. So we all know that Ustad Bismillah Khan, he did not want to go anywhere. He did not, in fact, he did not accept the proposal to open the Shehnai school in the USA. Why? Because he knew that once he's going to go and start a school somewhere else, what would happen? He had to leave his country, for which he was not ready at all. And at many places we have read that he loved the river Ganga, he loved his native place, he loved India, right? So whenever he was out of India, he always yearned to go back to India, right? So this is why he did not accept, he refused to start a Shehnai school in the USA, all right? So these were the question and answers of this chapter, The Sound of Music, part 2, with which we have finished all the questions, right? And the explanation is also done. I hope everything is clear to you and you have understood the entire chapter as well as the question answers. Children, whenever you are writing answers, make sure that do not start from because or so. Always make sure that first take the part from the question so that whenever you're writing the answer, it is very precisely clear that yes, this is the purpose of writing the answer. Or even if you do not read a question, without reading a question also the answer is pretty much clear. So that should be the way of writing an answer. Okay, so that's all for today. Keep learning and keep growing with Winsome International School. Take care. Goodbye.